if I impress one thing on you today, is that site search is not a checkbox item. It is not a thing where you say, okay, I have it or I don't. Rather, site search is an important part of your user experience when people come to your site, and it can be optimized for maximized revenue in the exact same way that any other component of your shopping lifecycle can be optimized for maximized revenue. So just a couple things about us and SLI and why we know what we're talking about. SLI as a company was founded in 2001, and our very first product was website search. And so we have a variety of products that are in the findability field that help customers connect to the things that they want to buy on sites in order to be ROI positive and increase the top line for websites. But the very first thing we did, and the thing we've been doing contiguously since that day, was offering search for sites. And so we power search in some form or another on more than 800 e-commerce sites. We are the most popular SaaS site search solution in the world, and we have a lot of experience with what works and what doesn't. So what I want to share with you today is, first of all, some fundamentals that everybody should do and everybody should consider, and then I also want to get into some of the current interesting trends in search, things that have just been coming up in recent years that maybe even aren't on your radar because they are very new, and there are things that are worth sitting and paying attention to. So the first thing we should talk about before we go any further is just your site searcher. The person who comes to your site and uses search is probably the best shopper you have. They are very well targeted. They know what they want. They're coming with a mission. They're not browsing. They're here to buy. And this is reflected in numbers. So this is one example that I pulled out of one of our customers. And in this case, you can see, this is straight from their Google Analytics, right? At the top, we have the stats for people who do not use search when they come to the site. In this case, those people are converting at a 2.3%, and they're earning 77 cents per visitor. But now here's the stats for people who do use search. And in this particular case, they're converting at a 6x, and the revenue per visitor is 5.5x what you get for people who do not use search. And this is actually not anomalous to this customer. This is something that is true across the broad variety of our customers. So we went out and we did a survey of more than 200 retailers, and these are the stats you saw. So this is really aggregated across a large number of online retailers. Show you a couple. Conversion rate, in the average, 3x. So a person who uses search 3 times more likely to convert. And then the per visit value, that's probably the other one you really care about, almost 3x. Right, more than 2.5 times. So this search customer, this person who comes to your site and engages in this behavior, is a really critical must-win customer. And so the question that comes out of that is, okay, well, what do we do? How do we win with these customers? So let's talk about the first thing, the most critical thing is that you have to give them search results that actually meet the need that someone is expressing when they come to your website and they want to search. So when somebody comes to your website and searches on a product, it's tantamount to, if you imagine yourself in a brick and mortar store, it's tantamount to walking into the store and going up to a sales associate and saying, where are the men's socks? So if you do that, you want men's socks. You're here to buy men's socks. And when people come to your website and they say, where are the men's socks? And you don't show them men's socks, you lose sales, you lose recurring revenue, and you lose an opportunity to build an ongoing relationship with someone who could be a critical customer. So let's use this example. I hate to pick on these guys. I hope whoever runs this site, Vanning, I hope you're not in the room. But if you are in the room, I kind of hope you're in the room because you really need help. This site, I did a search for black dress. Now let me clarify. This is a women's clothing site. They sell lots and lots of black dresses. You can go to this website and you can find a ton of black dresses. But if you search, you cannot. Bottom one there, that's actually a dress, if I can figure out how to make the laser pointer work. That's actually a dress. It's not black, but I guess it's closer than the rest of these. This is a dismal search experience. If someone comes to your website and they're getting this experience, you're losing that customer, I guarantee you. And you're losing them not just for this sale, you're losing them forever. Now what you want to do is you want to have the experience you have on Cache. I go to Cache, I search for black dress. You know what I see? Black dresses, period. And this is how you should service someone who comes and asks. Now, how is this accomplished? Why is it that this experience is so bad and this experience is so much better? Well, we believe, and our approach is really about using the behavior of the real users who come to the website to learn and feedback results that are most appropriate. So we have a learning engine cycle, and basically the idea here is shoppers come. This is what we do for all of our products. Shoppers come to the website. Shoppers have behaviors. We record the behaviors. And then what we do is we see what they ultimately wind up purchasing, or what ultimately leads to purchases. And then the learning engine takes those recorded behaviors, and everybody who comes to the website puts in a term, clicks on things, puts things in their cart. That's like a vote. And as lots and lots of people come to the website, they vote. And they teach you with their clicks and with their dollars what they want from you when they do certain things. So in the case of search, somebody comes, they search on black dress. Well, we do it in we have lots of services that build on this. We're talking about search today, but if you want to hear about the other services, get me afterwards, go to our booth. We'll tell you about the other services too. So in the case of search, people come to Cache, they search on this term, black dress, they wind up clicking on items, and what happens is the engine learns. So what we've done here is we've exposed, down in the bottom, the actual results of the engine's learning. So this dress here, which is in the number 1 spot, it actually started out in the number 2 spot. So that's a pretty good dress. People like that dress. It meets the needs. But look at this one. This dress here that's in the number 2 spot started out in position 37, and the next dress down started in position 52. So originally, if you had just gone to the website and searched on black dress, this dress, which is the 3rd most popular black dress on Cache, was the 52nd dress in the list. And what happened is real people went and they found this item and they clicked on this item and they put this item in carts and they bought this item and they voted. And based on the voting, the site learned that these are the products that people are likely to buy, and this is the order in which it's optimized to present them in order to give them the best results. So first and foremost, the very first thing you need to do with your search is give people relevant results, and the most relevant results you conceivably can, because that's what they're here to do. And I will reiterate this point later on because I think it's really important. And then I'll reiterate it again later on again because I think it's really important. So once you're kind of accomplishing that, you've got the basics, you think you're giving relevant results, what are some of the things we want to do with search? What are some ways of the ways to make search work best? Well, let's walk down the list. And I want to start with the search box. Before you even get as far as getting any results, as getting any search terms, presenting any results, the first thing you should do, please, make your search box visible. Make your search box easy to find. Don't confuse your search box with things like sign up for my email list, because these must-win customers are coming to your website. They're trying to tell you what they want so that they can go buy that thing. So the best practice is big, visible, obvious search box at the top, usually in the center or the left. I'm sorry, the right. That one's the one on the right. The left would be the other one. My left. Usually in the center or the right, big, visible cues, words, enter search terms, search, type here to search. Okay? Obvious, a big button that says search or a big magnifying glass. So those cues are what site users understand they will use to do it. And this really makes a difference. So let's use an example. One of our customers, Black Forest Decor, used to have this arrangement up at the top. And this used to be what the top of their website looked like. And they felt that their search box was underutilized and that this was costing them. So they went back and they did a redesign. And a big piece of it was to make the search box much more visible, which is the one you see down here at the bottom. And you can see the stats because they're written there and you all know how to read too. But 34% increase in conversion rate across all site visitors, across all site traffic. Because what was happening was people were losing it. They weren't seeing it. They were navigating and clicking on things and not finding the products they want. And by driving people to search, this wound up this purely design change on the home page wound up being a huge increase in sales for this particular retailer. So make your search box very visible, very obvious. Do usability testing on it, or do A/B split testing on it, and make sure that you're finding something that gets more usage, is easy to find, and easy to use. Another neat thing that some people are doing now is they're actually doing always-on-top floating search bars. So this is kind of hard because it's a screen cap, but if you look to the left, you'll see that this part is cropped off. That's because I scrolled down. I scrolled down further into search results, and the search box, this thing right here, stayed at the top as I scrolled. So this is one of the things that people will have now. They'll have an always-on, and you can go, and as you move up and down, the search box will stay right there. And what's great about that is people do searches, they try to find things, and they go, that's not really what I meant. And so you want that to be visible and obvious, and they can just one click away so that you're removing friction from the process. And one thing I'll just mention, I do notice that I'm seeing notes, I'm seeing cameras out. I will be overjoyed to email you this deck, okay? So afterwards, if you want these slides, if you want to know what's going on, grab me, give me a business card, and I will email this deck to everybody who wants it. So no worries. You can take pictures. It's cool. But you don't have to. I'll give you the deck, is my point. So once people actually start typing in search terms, again, what you want to do is you want to minimize the friction to get to the product they want. Another best practice is, first of all, autocomplete, and then what we call rich autocomplete. So there's a couple things here to look at. The first one is search suggestions up at the top. Now, in our case, we're using the learning engine. So we know that people who start typing in this word, butter, these are the things they are most likely to ultimately want. Peanut butter jelly bean. You might not have thought of that. But the crowd will vote. And as the crowd votes, you can learn what you need to give them and give it to them. Likewise, products. The products that people are most likely to buy on Jelly Belly, when you search on this term butter, are showing up right here in order. And again, that's the most likely product, second most likely product, third most likely product. So we can attach people to rich autocomplete. When customers click on rich autocomplete products in our customer base, they're converting at like 1.5 times, 2 times what they are if they don't click on products in rich autocomplete. So when you give them rich autocomplete and they click on it, they have a much higher conversion rate. You're getting a lot more converting there than you would be otherwise. And then there's some neat things. I'll get into non-product content. One of the cool trends right now is non-product content. But one of the things that people are doing, like Anderson Windows sells windows and doors, hence the name. And so if you want a particular kind of window or door or something, you need to buy this product. But there's a lot of content they provide, like how-to guides, how to install, how to choose when to use it, this or that. They literally have hundreds and hundreds of these PDFs. So they've actually incorporated their non-product content right there into search results. So I start to search on French doors. I see some French doors I can buy, but I also see some literature that tells me about French doors. So I can go through the learning process. And it's right there where I can find it real easy in my rich autocomplete results. So before someone has even gotten to the point where they've put in a search term and got results, you've already had opportunity to influence them for the better, make the search box very obvious, help them out with some autocomplete options. These are things you do before they ever even click on results. Now, once they do, obviously relevant results. I was showing you black dresses before. Now I'm going to show you blue dresses. Bowdoin is an example of a company that does search very well in every way. One of the things you see, you search on blue dress, you get blue dresses, right? And they're doing this using learning. And it seems like such an elementary thing, and I promised you I'd tell you 2 more times. This is one I'm going to tell you 1 more time. Such an elementary thing, but you'd be amazed how many sites get this wrong. And it's the one thing, if you get one thing right, it's the one thing you've got to get right. So provide relevant results. And then provide refinements. So if we go back to Bowdoin, another thing they do really nicely is they have these refinements down to the left. So if I search on blue dress on Bowdoin, I get a lot of blue dresses. I'm not sure if the number's there, but it's a big number, right? We got pages going all the way up to here. So there's a whole lot of blue dresses. And it might be hard to find the product I want. So what do I look over here? I've got all kinds of different categories. I've got subtleties on blue, electric blue versus harbor blue. I've got reviews. I've got price ranges. All these different things that I can do to refine down. So refinements are very important. If you have a broad product selection, think about your refinements. Very, very, very important. And it can really help people get what they want. And approach your refinements intelligently. If I do a search, I should be able to click on refinements, and that should be only things in my search results that meet those refinements. Or I should be able to click on refinements and then do a search, and search only among things that are in those sets, right? So you want to think about the usability of this and do this in a way that's very usable, that works very well. Another neat thing, again, refinements here, one of the things I think is cool, Republic of Tea includes pictures. So, you know, I get a sense for what a tea bag or a full leaf tea looks like. So think about this. If you're in like the apparel space, wouldn't it be great, right? If someone's thinking, or if I'm selling accessories and I've got rings and watches and sunglasses, I could have a picture of a ring and a watch and a sunglass. It'd be very visible. Help people connect to what they want to buy, right? It's a nice, neat thing that Republic of Tea does. Too few people do. I think it's a really nice thing. And then another thing is you can optimize your display for what you're showing. So if we look at Next by way of example, very large UK retailer. In this case, I searched on dresses. And so what are we seeing here? We're seeing these dresses. They're 4 up, they're 4 across, so I can fit 8 of them in this nice little above the fold area. I've got my nice refinements here, and they're things that are right for dresses, like, you know, party wear, smart casual, day, occasion wear, right? So it's dress appropriate. But if I do a different search, like sofa, now I have a very different kind of product. So sofas, well, let's see, dresses are tall and skinny, and they work well in portrait mode, unless the models are lying down. Sofas, unless you tip them on their side, kind of want to be on landscape mode. So what do? Now they have a 2-up instead of a 4-up. Same website, different search, formats my results in a different way so that my shopping experience is better. Over on the left, different refinements. I don't have evening wear as a refinement. It wouldn't make any sense. But I can choose, do I want fabric or leather? Because that's appropriate for a sofa. So as you think about refinements and you think about how you present your results, also try to present them in a way that is going to be optimal for the person who is shopping for that category of product. And every category of product may not have an optimal search results experience. Non-product content. I alluded to this already. We're seeing a lot of companies now moving in this direction. I think it's a really neat trend in search. So many companies, most companies, how much of us here are doing something on social media or producing videos or other kinds of non-product content as part of our life cycle to try to bring customers in? Raise your hands. Okay, most of the room. So you're making this content. You're spending your money. You're creating content, you're paying an agency, or you have your own employees doing it, or you're taking your own precious, valuable time as someone who's supposed to be operating the site, and you're making Facebook posts, and you're tweeting, and you're producing videos, and you're making rich product, and you're putting it out there, and it's out there in the web sphere, but it's not in your purchase path. Well, gosh, isn't that where you need it the most? So one of the things that we see people doing that I think is really smart is bringing that non-product content back into their own purchase path. This is King Arthur Flour. King Arthur Flour is a New England-based baking supplies company. They brag that they actually were founded when George Washington was alive. So they've been around for a long time. And part of what King Arthur Flour does is they're really, really, really about non-product content. So they have something on the order of 1,200 SKUs or so, roughly, right? 1,200 SKUs or so, and they have twice as many recipes. They have 2,500 recipes on their website because they think the recipes are very important. People come, they find recipes, and they buy products based on that. So what happened is they incorporate the recipes back into search results. So if I search on, what did I search on here? I can't remember, cookie. Okay, I can see cookie products, and if we saw products, we'd say cookie mix and cookie baking sheets and things like that. But then I also have cookie recipes. So I can go and I can find those in a different tab, right? So I have my choices, products, recipes, blogs. And I can get to that information right there in my search results. A lot of people are doing this kind of thing. Kid Robot. Kid Robot sells little toys for adults. Not that kind. Toys for adults. These little plastic things, and they're basically art pieces. They're display art pieces. And so for Kid Robot, being visual is very, very important, and social media is very, very important. So they have this really advanced approach. You know, they do a lot of great stuff on Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook, and they have these wonderful videos, and they have these wonderful pictures, and they're high glossy and beautiful and all this stuff. Bring it in. So when I go to Kid Robot and I search on a term like, what is that? That's probably a money or a dunny. That's a dunny. If I search on dunny, which is a product of theirs, again, I've got these things down at the bottom. I've got products, 6 products, 6 dunny products I can buy, 540 Facebook posts, 122 Instagrams, 762 blogs to service 6 products. But that's their best practice. That's how they sell, because they're about social media. They're about the experience. So they bring that into the purchase path. They make that part of what you look at. And just to belabor this, one more example, Eyes, Lips, Face. Eyes, Lips, Face has makeup. So a lot of what they're about is a couple things. Number one is PR. What makeup is Katy Perry wearing, right? And then the other one is, I probably shouldn't have that kind of body English. I'm sure Katy Perry is very important to a lot of people. And then the second thing is they have a lot of how-to. They have videos and stuff. So if you have how-to, if you have do-it-yourself kind of content, a lot of people produce that now. That's a great thing to bring in. So in this case, if I wanted to look at the videos, it would be how to apply my makeup, how to use this lipstick, how to use this mascara, right? Bring it into the purchase path, make people be able to use it. And then this is just a real neat one in social. So one of the things is this non-product content can be content you're producing, like your own videos, but those are probably sitting on YouTube, so that gets into social. If you've got pictures, you're probably putting them out there in Facebook and Pinterest, so that gets into social. And then if you're tweeting or putting up Facebook posts or all this stuff, that's very much into social. Instagram, very social. So one of the neat examples here is FTD. So FTD, a lot of people incorporate ratings and reviews. It's one of the things you can incorporate into your search results. Show me the 5-star rated, show me the 4-star rated, show me the 3-star rated, right? It's good practice. It's a good thing to do. But if your FTD ratings and reviews don't work for you, why? Because the people who buy flowers are not the people who receive flowers. So the ratings model just falls apart, right? If you buy the thing for yourself and it comes, then you rate it. But what do people do? They like products on Facebook. So what FTD did was they actually incorporated their Facebook likes right here into results. I can actually sort results by Facebook likes, which I've done. So here we did this phrase, search on this phrase, saw a bunch of these products, and then we've got the number of Facebook likes right there, so I can see them in descending order of how popular they are. Use the social proof metric to help people make purchases, which is one of the ways that you make purchases successful. So there are lots of opportunities to take this content that you're producing, or that's being produced, or that you're encouraging your users to generate, that's out there in the world, and bring it into the purchase path, and bring it back to the site. And search is one of the main ways that you should be looking to do that. So very important practice there. A few other cool things we do that we've seen customers do that you could do. If you have something like a store finder, why don't you integrate that with Google Maps, right? So if you're searching for a product, search for product for pickup, where can I pick it up? Show me the stores and give me a map. Let me stay where I am, and I can look at it and say, okay, this store is here. I can drive down there and get there. If you have brick and mortar stores, or if you do some things where you send people to stores to buy, this is a neat thing that you can build in. Mobile devices, this is another big one. So there's a lot of focus on how do we really make ourselves successful in mobile. So one of the things to think about is that the mobile search experience, due to the different form factors, should be radically different than what someone gets when they're on a desktop. And so often we design for the desktop and we don't think about the needs of mobile. So let me give you a couple examples. This is one. This is Tea Collection. If I go to teacollection.com, this isn't a special site. This isn't an app. This isn't MDOT. This is just teacollection.com. What happens is the site sniffs my OS, knows that I'm on a mobile device, and gives me this entirely different search experience. In this case, I have a great big visible obvious search bar. Real important on a mobile device. Navigating around, looking at screens, hard to do. Mobile devices search at a much higher rate than desktop users. So what you do is you give them a nice, easy, obvious search bar. They click on that, and then you give them results that are easy to scroll through and make sense of in a search environment, and filters. Click on this, filters drop down. Now let's look at a different example. Let's look at a tablet. So Rich Autocomplete, and we talked about Rich Autocomplete. In this case, Sports Authority had a problem, which is if you're on a tablet, all those cool products are falling below the keyboard. So what do? They created a different Rich Autocomplete experience if I'm on a tablet where I can see the products, as opposed to when I'm on a desktop where it looks more like this. So they sniff the operating system and they give you something that's appropriate. Search engine optimization, very quickly, one of the things you can do is you can actually use search behaviors to understand how to do SEO. And one of the problems with SEO is the long tail. All these guys over here are very hard to actually connect to. And so one of the things that a lot of our customers do is they use search results to drive their long tail SEO. And what they can do is actually do search results to create pages for long tail terms and then use those to come back and cause more sales to happen. I can give you a more detailed explanation of that. Come by the booth. It's a really great thing to do. It's new customers, new revenue for you that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And then the last thing is think about customer intelligence. So I want to share a couple examples. So when people come to your website and search, they're telling you information. So Harry and David had products they called preserves, and they sold preserves. What did they not sell? They sold preserves, they sold butters, they sold fruit spreads, they sold relishes, but they didn't have anything called jam, and they didn't have anything called jelly. And so people would come to their website and they'd search for jam, and they'd get no results. They'd say, oh, no jam here. Well, of course there's jam here, but they're calling it preserves. So what Harry and David did was they looked at search results, and they said, oh my God, a lot of people are searching on jam. We need to rename some of our products to jam, because people are telling us that's what they want. Another example, and this is the kind of adult toy I was referring to earlier. So there's a company called Lovehoney. They sell marital aids, shall we say. And what happened was they started to get all these searches on this phrase 50 Shades of Grey. This was before the books came out, back when it was just this web phenomenon. They're like, everybody's searching on 50 Shades of Grey. What does this mean? So they went out, they did a little research, and they realized, oh my God, everybody's reading this website. This is huge. And they did a deal. They went and they got an exclusive deal with 50 Shades of Grey for 50 Shades of Grey branded products. And they got there early, and they got the deal before anyone else because they were watching what their customers were telling them when their customers were putting in search terms. And I guarantee all of you can do that in one way or another. Look at those search terms and understand what your shoppers are telling you. Last example of the same thing, champagne. So Jelly Belly would get a lot of searches on the phrase champagne, on the word champagne. And they had products. They had champagne-flavored Jelly Bellies, and they were having terrible, dismal sales. So they said, we need to figure out why. And they went out and they started to talk to customers who hadn't bought. And what they learned was that people wanted to buy champagne Jelly Bellies for weddings, to put them in glasses and champagne flutes on tables, and they wanted to do bulk purchases. And so because they learned that customer insight, they could offer a new product, which was a bulk purchase champagne Jelly Belly, and all of a sudden they have a new product that people want to buy, and it winds up being a huge seller for this one specific niche. Again, because they're listening to what their customers are telling them, and I guarantee you, you can do that. So key takeaways. If you take away one thing here, search is not a checkbox item. Searchers are you must win customers. You must give them relevant results. You must make the search box clear and visible and easy to find and appealing. If you do nothing else, do those things. If you're ready to do something else, think about how you give them the richest, most relevant search results experience you can. Think about how you bring the other content that you're creating into the purchase path and into search results. And think about what your customers are telling you when they use search.